right, ladies. Well, let's go ahead and get started because I am excited for this conversation. Let me just introduce myself for those of you who don't know me. So, Fatima, Walisha, you guys are new. Tamika, Chrissy, thank you again. I've known you guys for a long time and appreciate you guys showing up. So, my name is April Nowlin. I am a certified life breakthrough coach. My specialty, my passion is helping women to do two things. One, to heal from heartbreak and to create a life they love. And then two, to prepare for the love you deserve. So, a little bit about myself, how I got into this business. I've been coaching for 11 years. I started my business as a business coach in 2013. And then in 2019, I went through, I like to say I survived my third divorce. Yeah, y'all, number three. And I went through this year-long healing journey, and I really felt like God was saying, you need to support women who are either on your journey, may be on your journey, stop them from having the same journey, all these things. And so I said yes. In that year, 2019, I wrote a little book. I call it a pamphlet. It takes about 2 hours to read, but it talked about my healing journey. And that was kind of the first step in me helping women, was just telling the story. Because sometimes we only want to talk about what we've been through. And I felt like God was saying, this is your first step. And then over the last 4 years, I have created different programs for women, individual coaching, group coaching. And now I have what's called When Love Comes. And this is a life coaching community to pretty much prepare women for the love they deserve. And so that's where you guys all got connected for this particular conversation. So tonight I have an amazing, amazing, amazing guest. I met her online. So let me tell y'all, we've never even met in person. I met her I think it was in a podcast group, right? On Facebook. It was a podcast group, and we just connected, y'all. We just connected, and she gave me the honor of speaking into the ladies in her group, and I just knew like I had to have her here in the community. And so I just want to introduce you guys to Coach Olivia B. Shepherd. She goes by Lady O, which I love. I love. She's a transformation coach. And I know that you guys may have heard that term or title, like transformation coach, mindset coach, all these things. But what I love about Coach Olivia is that she's actually putting in the work to help women transform their lives. She doesn't just say, I'm this coach, but I've seen the things that she puts out on social media. If you don't follow her, follow her. But just the positivity, the things that she says, the way she uplifts women, I just love it. So she's also a podcast coach. She's a mentor, and really her goal, her passion is helping women to heal from trauma. So one of the things that I think we don't talk about enough, I see a lot of people talking about trauma, but we don't really talk about healing, true healing from trauma. And so I love how she supports women in that way. So thank you, thank you, thank you, Coach Olivia, for being here tonight.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Awesome. So just a few housekeeping things, ladies. You can keep your cameras on or off, totally up to you. We do have some topics we're going to talk about around loving yourself after heartbreak. But if you've got a burning question, drop it in the chat and we'll make sure to get that answered. If you weren't here when I started, the recording will be available on YouTube, and then it'll also be available in the community. And then we'll have some special resources available for those who are part of the community as well. So, Coach Olivia, let's get started.
Yes, ma'am.
What are some of the things that you see in women when they have, when they've gone through heartbreak? What are some of the effects that you see in women?
The first one is not believing that they deserve love, or because like you said, you've been married 3 times, and Alicia probably could attest to this as well. But when we break up, when we are done, we believe. I see the self blame. I'm not lovable. Nobody's gonna love me, And like I explained to my clients, that's their loss. This has nothing to do with you. Don't fault yourself for what you didn't know when you were unhealed. So when you're getting to your stages, so if you had in your second marriage, maybe there was something that wasn't right there. Then your third marriage, maybe something wasn't right there. Now, if you want to be married 4 times, my dad married 7. You know, do it until you get it right if you want to. But what I see is the self blame. It was my fault that he talked to me this way. It was my fault that I wasn't good in bed. It was, and that's why he had to cheat. It was my fault that he, I didn't clean the house properly or I didn't cook his favorite meal. No, stop that. It's not your fault. And I see a lot of self blame when it comes to breakups. And I'm sorry, but it's not you. I mean, yeah, yes, you do play a part. I will, I don't play that. You do play a part, but don't take that into every relationship, because now you're going into a relationship, your fourth relationship, where you're saying, now you're like trying to add up all those things and bringing that baggage into the fourth relationship. So I see a lot of that self blame, and it breaks my heart because it's their loss, not yours.
Man, look, ladies, we starting off like hot. We are starting off hot, and I love every bit of it. I love every bit of it. So I want to touch on a couple things that you said that I think are so, 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 so true. One of the things that people ask me is, "Girl, how did you get divorced 3 times?" But what you are saying is spot on. So first of all, going into a relationship with trauma, right? So maybe that is low self-esteem, lack of feeling unloved from a parent, or things like that. So we go into a relationship already, and don't like to use the term broken. I like to use the term unhealed, right? You're not broken, you're unhealed. There's things you need to heal from. But then you get into this relationship, it fails, and now that's just another layer, right, of rejection, low self-esteem, blame, and then you don't get unhealed. You get into the next relationship, and you may not have even been married. So I talk about mine from marriages. You could be someone listening and saying to yourself, I've never been married, but I see that pattern. And so I love that you touched on the blame game. We do have to take accountability, but not everything was your fault. I did a post not too long ago, and it was four things that's not your responsibility. And we have to remember that someone else's healing, not our responsibility. Someone else's happiness, not our responsibility. Someone else's thoughts, even of us, not our responsibility. So I'm so glad you touched on that. So talking about that, how do we now rebuild that self-esteem? What are some of the things we can do when like our self-esteem is down here? What can we do after that breakup?
Ooh, well, the first thing you do, you have to heal. And when you start healing, you can't jump into other relationships. I think we have this tendency, when you break up with one, it's just like alcohol. I'm a recovering alcoholic. When you're done with one thing, you think, okay, well, let me go get this because this is what I'm familiar with. So we go get another man. Okay, just like me, I would take another drink because I was familiar. I didn't like being sober. I didn't like the way my brain was. I'm like, oh no, this is all right. So with most women, we go into other relationships because we're thinking, okay, this time we got it. But not one time have you decided to heal. Okay, you haven't said, why am I this way? Is it something that came from my childhood? Was my mom, hard on me? Was my dad unlovable? And me coming from childhood trauma, my father my father did some bad things to me. So I looked to men for that father figure. So that's what was going into every relationship. So once you get out of this breakup, you got to pause. Before I met my husband, I took a whole year, a whole year before I met my husband. And I didn't have sex. I did not date. I didn't do anything. I just kind of found out who I was at first. Like, let me see who I am outside of being a mistress, because I was a mistress for several years. But you take time to heal. You figure out what you want, your identity outside of being a man. I always say this as a disclaimer. If you are a codependent person, you just have to have people around. You have to have people in your corner. That is something you need to heal quickly. Well, you can't heal it quickly, but you need to go ahead and get that together, because that codependency will keep you in relationships where you are dependent on this person. So you're going to get from man to relationship because you're codependent and you can't live without somebody. So you have to start with healing. I don't care what you do after that first breakup. I don't care. You get into a therapy session, you get it, find you a coach, a mentor, a spiritual advisor. You find somebody to say, let me do something else other than be with somebody. Give your body a rest, okay? You don't have to have sex all the time. It is okay if we take a break from that. I know, over 40, we raging. Let it ride out. Let it go, and say, you know what? I need to rest my body. I need to learn how to sleep alone. I need to learn how to eat alone. I need to learn how to go places alone. I don't have to have somebody. Start working on those things so that you can work your way up to when it's time to get in this relationship. You now have taught people how to treat you once you get there. Okay? Once you get there, if you start taking care of yourself, you will teach the next man how to treat you.
Woo! Y'all, when I say just listening to you, Coach Olivia, is just reigniting a fire in me. And the reason I say that, ladies, is because I have had to walk the walk. I am not sitting here as someone who just woke up one day and was like, you know what, I think I'm going to start being a coach. Like, I had to walk the walk. And one of the things that you said that just really hit home for me was being okay with being alone.
Yes.
The world puts this stigma, and it's getting better, but the world kind of puts this stigma on being single. Something's wrong with you if you're single. If you were in certain cultures, right? Certain cultures, if you're not married by a certain time, something's wrong with you. You're broken. And one of the things that kept me in my cycle, so my cycle relationships, y'all, lasted 20 years. I went through a divorce at 21, 31, and 41. 20 years, same cycle, same cycle, same cycle. And one of the things that kept me there is because people would tell me, you have to get healed for your next husband. You have to get healed so that you can be a better wife. It wasn't until I was in my 40s that someone said, you just need to be healed so you can be happy. And it was like, oh my gosh, what?
Right.
Just for me.
That's right.
And so I challenge you guys, if you are someone who, and I mean, this is no shame, but if you are someone who cannot be by yourself, that is going to be something that you work on. I am in a relationship now, but when he and I met, he was a widower. And he had not been single in 20 years. And so one of the first things that I told him, I said, before we can get serious, I need you to know who you are without your previous wife. And that meant I asked him to take solo trips by himself. I asked him to do things by himself because I did not want to take that chance of where you're just dating me because you don't want to be alone.
Exactly.
So get out there. The other thing about that, ladies, set the standard now.
That's right.
Take yourself to nice restaurants. I go, and to this day, even in a relationship, I still say, you know what? I'm going to go to this play by myself. I'm comfortable being by myself.
Yes. It's my jam. My motto is, I am my best company. I'm my best company. And for the year that I spent before I met my husband, I did everything by myself. I still do things by myself, even in my marriage. I didn't bring that. Well, I'm 19 years in. Maybe the 20 mark might be the divorce mark. I don't know. But, I still go places by myself. I still do things on my own because I found my identity outside of him in case some things popped off. Okay. So you have to know how to be by yourself when it comes to that situation. And I think a lot of, and so my clients have that fear of being alone. It's the fear. And I'm like, well, what's the worst can happen? Because I'm sorry, I don't want to be with somebody and I'm hurting, I'm depressed. You can be in a relationship and still be lonely. You can still be in a crowded room and still be lonely. So stop making this excuse that you need to be with somebody and then you're journaling, well, he doesn't see me. He doesn't notice what I have on. He doesn't do this. That's because you're still alone. So start practicing now. So when you start to notice those patterns of him ignoring you, be like, okay, see, no, we're not going to do this. This is why when you're alone, you are learning what you want in your next relationship. You're not going to speak to me this way. You're not going to ignore my calls. We're not going to be to the point where, one day you're here with me and then the next day you're over here and the next day I got to worry. I'm not worrying about what you're doing. This is why you need to learn how to be alone, not be in fear. I've never understood what is so fearful about being alone. I'm an extrovert. So of course I can meet and talk to anybody. I can go sit up at anybody's bar, anybody's restaurant, anybody's state and get to talking. Okay. I mean, I will make friends any place, and that's me, but you have to learn how to say, all right, I'm not with Leroy no more. How do I go out in public, not dressed alike anymore? Because you remember y'all was dressed alike, y'all was holding hands, you was doing everything. Now you got to learn how to do those things by yourself. Dress to impress for yourself. Make sure your hair is done for yourself. Do things for yourself. It is okay. Because you know what? Now that you let Leroy go, James over there been watching you the whole entire time. But you won't know this until you get to the point where you can do something. You're not gonna look crazy in a restaurant if you eat alone. Okay, I will every single chance I get. This sister will pop in a restaurant. Okay, every chance I get, I will go someplace by myself. You don't look crazy. You don't look like she's lonely. And I like what you said about culturally, people tell us something's wrong with us. But seeing my father have 7 wives, seeing my mom be married to a man who had 7 wives, because I'm still convinced he was a bigamist when he got with her. So this was the only man she was ever married to. But then she got burnt by this one and she started dating married. So now she's almost 70 years old, still dating married men, because she does not know what it's like to be without somebody. Don't be, and Alicia knows I say this all the time, don't be a 70-year-old my mama. Okay? Don't be a 70-year-old my mama. Get yourself alone, learn what you like, do what you like, so that way when somebody comes in, and so James comes in, was like, well, look, this is what we're going to know. This is what you're going to do, and this is what I'm going to do. Because you've already had that time alone.
That is so good. So ladies, your first kind of big takeaway tonight in loving yourself after heartbreak is learning how to be comfortable in your own skin, learning how to be comfortable by yourself. Because here's the thing, y'all. If you can't be alone with you, don't nobody else want to be alone with you.
No.
Just being honest. You got to get comfortable being by yourself. And that, and to Coach Olivia's point, that may not be forever. But there is something that I believe God wants to do in you that he has to do just with you.
That's right.
Just with you.
That's right.
The other thing that I love is, listen, ladies, it doesn't matter what age you are. Some of the ladies I know online, so I know, kind of our age range and all these things. And I'm telling you, it is never too late to get this right. It is never too late to, change your story. It is never too late. So if you're someone listening and you're like, man, I'm in my 50s, I'm in my 60s, girl, it's not too late. Start doing these things now. Now, in the fall, I'm going to be doing something special. I'm partnering with someone actually in the Bahamas, and we're going to be doing a little kind of self-date challenge in the fall. So stay tuned for that. I'm just going to plug that. It's going to be really exciting, but it's going to be exactly what we're talking about right now, is we're going to be giving you ways to just date yourself.
That's it.
Now, Coach Olivia, one of the things that I know you are big on is self-care, self-love. Let's start with self-love. Where does self-love come in? We're talking about loving ourselves after a heartbreak. Where does self-love come in?
Well, first you have to realize that you are not unlovable because you had 3 marriages. The self-blame. You are not unlovable just because they failed to love you properly. Okay? Stop with the self blame. You are not unlovable. They just didn't know how to do it properly. They didn't know how to love you. But in order for them to know how to love you, guess what has to happen? You have to learn how to love yourself. You can't teach somebody something you don't even know yet. And you can learn that in your 40s, your 50s, your 60s. You can still learn that. Love yourself enough to say, okay, this is how this is going to go. This is how I want to be talked to. This is how I want to be treated. This is what I want to do, because these are the things when you're not around, I can do for myself. I always told my first beginning clients when I used to do one-on-one coaching, and I used to always tell, I used to keep a bunch of flowers in behind me, and I would go to the store, and in everybody's store in everybody's state, do not tell me this is not true. They have a Publix, a HEB, they have a Food Line in Piggly Wiggly where they sell loose flowers, 3 for $12. You go pick out flowers every single week, and you cut those bad boys, put them in a vase from a Dollar Tree, and you put them around in your house. You don't have to wait for somebody to buy you flowers. You don't have to wait for somebody to buy you pieces of jewelry. You don't have to wait for people to take you out to eat. Okay? Date yourself. Love your body. If somebody you've dated said you was too fat, so he cheated on you with the skinny girl, don't lose weight if you don't feel like it, but start eating healthy for you. Okay, if you want a flat tummy, get to walking for you. And if you're comfortable in your plus size body or your skinny body, then that works for you. I know for a long time, even in my marriage, my husband would say, all I like is black hair. That's your thing. And I did that for years. I wore black hair. Even before he met me, I used to have all colors hair, purple, whatever. And when I got married, I lost my identity, so I started wearing black. I hate the way black hair looks on me. It makes me look like my mom and makes me look older. That's just my opinion. But other people say they like it. But for a long time, I was like, no, I'm not doing this anymore. I feel comfortable in 350 color hair. Okay, this makes me happy. But you don't know that until you are alone and you sit in that mirror, take your clothes off, you sit in that mirror, cry, get in the shower, a hot shower, and say, God, how do I learn how to start loving myself? Okay, how do I start doing this? Look at your rolls, look at your breasts, look at your imperfections, and you start from there. But as a matter of fact, my client, Lisa just said journaling. Journal down the flaws that came from previous relationships. So write down everything they said that they did not like about you. And if you feel like fixing it for you, then fix it. And if it's something you like about yourself, then you continue to do that. Okay? But you just sit there. A lot of times we don't love our bodies. We don't look at ourselves naked. We don't just sit there in all our glory and say, this is me. He didn't love me. The second one didn't love me. The third one didn't love me, but I love me. I know for a fact I was a people pleaser. So I tried losing the weight. I tried wearing the hair. I did all those things for a man that still did not acknowledge me. Okay? So when you start, my ladies know you have to start with yourself, because when you start loving yourself, you will notice when they're not doing it. It'll start popping up. You'll start seeing it. It's like little red flags start coming around their little faces. Like, oh, that's a red flag. He's not loving me properly. Because you have to learn how to do that first. And I think another young lady said walking. Oh my God, walking. I am a walker. I walk 3 miles a day daily. Like, I'm an avid walker. I love that. But do it for you. That is a way to practice self-love. Self-love is just not about hair, nails, clothes, bubble baths, and massages. Don't let social media let y'all think that, because I always tell my clients too, you can take a 45-minute bath, but if you still got baggage on the outside of that bathroom door, you ain't cleared nothing up. All you did was get clean. You didn't clean anything else up in your mind. You still got stuff going on. You still got baggage after you open that bathroom door. Start inside. What I like about me. Whatever they didn't like about me, I am going to work on it for me, not for anybody else. Self-love, I am big on self-love all day long. all day long.
Yes, she is, y'all. So
Y'all love it.
she's got some resources on self-love. Check her out. I've got a
Yes,
31-day self-love guide. Check it out.
yes,
And it's simple.
yes.
It's simple. I love how you talked about our bodies, because as women, that is one of the areas that we struggle with when it
That's
comes
right.
to love, especially if there's been a man in our life, whether that has been a father, someone in an intimate relationship that has torn us down
That's right.
physically. It's hard to come back from, but ladies, you can do it.
Yes, you
I
can.
remember two instances where, and these have a couple, years ago, but before I'm dating the man I'm with now. But one of them, I was out to dinner with this guy, and we had probably been talking a few weeks. We were on a date, and halfway through the date, he looked at me and he says, "You know what? I think you're too good for me." And I go, "I think you're right."
Uh-huh.
And y'all may be like, April, but let me tell you, I had gotten to the place in my life
That's right.
where I could spot, oh, this is the direction your life is going. Nope, that's not for me.
That's right.
And not in this like haughty, I'm better than you type
That's right.
attitude, but I knew who I was.
That's
I
right.
knew who I was. I knew where God was taking me. I knew what my purpose was. And it was like in that moment, I was like, you're right. He said it, but you're right. I am too good for you. So yeah, and then the second time I was dating a guy, and this comes down to body image. I've always been curvy, never been like the skinny chick, all those things. But we had been dating a couple weeks. And when I say date, hanging out a couple weeks. And he says, he said, if you're the type of woman that you want your man to make you feel like you're the prettiest girl in the world, he said, that's never going to be me. He said, I think that you are beautiful. He said, but your size just doesn't do it for me. I had choices in both of those situations. Okay. With the guy at dinner, I could have said, oh, no, 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 I'm not too good for you. No.
That's
Right.
right.
Which would have been April 10 years ago.
Right.
And in the second situation, I could have said, oh, wait, let me go on a diet. Let me try to be this woman you want me to be. That would have been April 10 years ago. And I just looked at him and I said, I said, at the very least, my man should make me feel like the prettiest girl in the world. And I said, thank you, but no, thank you.
That's right. That's right.
But, you have to be confident enough in yourself to walk away from those type of situations.
That's right.
And it was after those type of encounters that I said to myself, all right, I'm on the right track.
That's right.
I'm on the right track. Let me see. Fatima says you can increase self-love by not letting them come back.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely. Let
I
them
am
go.
a believer and that's a great segue into the next area.
Right. That's
I
right.
am a believer in cutting some folks off when they need
Woo,
to be cut off. Look, y'all,
queen of it.
I even now, before I was in this relationship, I didn't keep a bunch of male friends. I didn't keep a bunch of for what?
That's right.
For what? You
That's right.
know? And what it is, we have that subconscious of, well, I always got this to go back to. It's that safety net.
Mm-hmm.
But Tina, you are spot on. One of the best ways that you can show yourself you love yourself is by cutting people out that don't need to be in your life.
That's right.
So while we're on that topic, let's talk about some boundaries.
That's right. That is right. That is right. I'm the boundary queen. My client's on the boundary queen. And cut off his friends, cut off his sister, his cousin, his mama, and all of them. Stop, cut him off Facebook too. Just because you were good friends with his sister or his cousins, or you like to play spades and hang out with them, cut them off. Okay? Take them off your social media, because what you're doing is you're keeping up with him so that he can keep up with you. So that the inside of you, you can still feel like you got this little door in. Cut it off. Okay. I had to do a lot of my, one of my clients, she was friends with her dead husband's sister and something, and they were, every time they would see stuff that she was doing, they would say things to her. I'm like, girl, if you don't cut them people off and get them off your Facebook page, you don't need these people around you. Everybody knows that I am the cutoff queen and I'm the boundary queen. You boundaries are not scary, women. They are not scary. They teach people how to treat you. If you do not want to be, misled, if you don't want to be lied to, how do they know that if you don't tell them That is something you have to say when you are on a date. And the first thing that comes in your mind, if he's like, well, sometimes it's, look, hey, look, bruh, this is how this is gonna go. You don't have to lie to me. We're over 40. You don't have to lie to me. Be honest with me. If you're dating, you're doing this, we're not together yet. You don't have to lie to me. Tell him that up front. If somebody's body shaming and saying, well, you're not my size, well, hey, you know what? Thank you for that, because I may work out for the next guy. That is your boundary. You set those boundaries from the beginning, because what I think people are afraid of is, well, I don't want to hurt anybody. If you are a people pleaser and you feel guilty about hurting people's feelings, boundaries are going to be hard for you, because you're going to feel like I'm hurting somebody's feelings. Like I tell my clients, they've been hurting your feelings all this time. You got to toughen up. I set boundaries. They know I set boundaries from the first day. I just told a story today to my clients about time boundaries, because a lot of people don't realize what time boundaries. If you're dealing with somebody and they stand you up or they keep showing up late, that is a boundary that they're crossing. And I clean the church for with some ladies at my church, and they're a little older than me, like in their 70s. And so they tell me to be to the church at 8:30. First two times I kind of let it slide. Okay, they're older, they move a little slow. Third time, God said, okay, it's time for you to set your boundary. So I had to let these sisters know in the name of the Lord. 8:30 means 8:30. Boundary. I have things to do other than sit in this church and clean it. Okay? I don't mind cleaning for the Lord, but what you're not going to do is overstep my boundaries. This was church folk. Okay, this was church folk. I didn't care how they thought I was, was going to be perceived afterwards. Luckily, they did say, you are telling us this in the name of the Lord, and we receive it. Be here at 8:30. I can't do 8:45, 8:50. I got other things to do. My point is, that was a time boundary that I stand by. So if you messing with guys now and they're like, hey, pick you up at 8:30, and you'll be on time. Stop making these dudes wait 24 to 50, 60 minutes. If you want to date, if you want to show what you want, then you have to exhibit that by setting these boundaries. I'll set a boundary in a minute. I don't play about no boundaries. I don't play about boundaries and cutting people off. And this is my season of not cutting you off, but letting you go. I don't care where you go. I just want you away from me. I don't want you to come back to me. I just want you to be. You just go ahead and be, because cutting off sounds a little harsh, but no, this is my let you be season. And if you want to be with the skinny girl, then be there, boo. If you want to be, with all the ruckus and the girl with the ghetto-ness and all of the kids, I'm letting you be there, but you have to get to a point where self-love is at play, that if this happens, okay, so maybe I won't have a date for the next 4 months. Be okay with that. Okay, you gotta stop looking at social media because you see somebody, all loved up on, together, and they doing date night. Stay off social media if you know that these things trigger you. Okay, because you're going to be alone for 4 months. You may be alone for 6 months. You might be alone for a year. Okay, but you find things you like to do in that year. Nature walks, hiking, going to comedy clubs, going to church, going to, coming to things like this, sign up for webinars. Make sure you are going. There's something in everybody's city, if it's from the free side to the paid side, that you can find during these times when you're saying, oh, I'm so lonely, I want a boyfriend, or I'm so lonely, I want walks on the beach. What's wrong with you walking by yourself? What's wrong? You got to get to this point, that you are not feeling like you're being left out. Okay? Set those boundaries. Let these people be while you're working on yourself.
So good. So good. So let's talk about a couple things that you guys can do to be successful with your boundaries. So if you got a pen, you're taking notes, here you go. Number one, get clarity on your boundaries. And what do I mean by that? Write them down.
Right.
We are so quick to forget, ladies. I mean, how many times have you said, I'm going to the store for 2 things, and you get in there and you get everything but them 2 things because you didn't forget what you went to the store for? Okay. So number one, get clarity, write them down. So that looks like, if this person does this, I'm going to do blank. Get clear.
That's right.
To Coach Olivia's point, communicate the boundary. People cannot read your minds. They can't. And let me tell you something, particularly when it comes to men. Men will listen to what you do over what you say. And let me give you an example. You say, I'm done with you. I don't want to talk to you. Don't call me. Don't text me. A week later, they text you. And what do? You text back. Men listen to actions
That's right.
over words.
That's right.
So you need to communicate that boundary. And then lastly, you have to what I call champion that boundary. And to Coach Olivia's point, a lot of times we don't hold people responsible for the consequences of their actions because we're too afraid to hurt them. And y'all ready for this? We are too afraid to feel the pain of upholding the boundary.
That's right.
Boundaries might hurt you too. And when I say hurt, I mean feeling wise. Boundaries may leave you lonely. Boundaries may leave you sad. But let me tell you, boundaries teach people how to treat you. Boundaries teach you how to treat you. And so a lot of times we don't champion that boundary because it's like, well, I'm going to miss him. And so to Coach Olivia's point, when it's I'm going to miss him, you put something else in that place. Every time I'm feeling alone, I'm going to take a walk. Every time I'm feeling alone, I'm going to go to the gym. Put something else in that space because it's so much harder when you remove something if nothing else is there. Then we go back to what's comfortable, right? So when you're feeling those feelings, it's okay to feel the feelings, but what do you do in that moment? Do you pick up the phone and call them? Do you pick up the phone and text them? I was in a 2-year one-night stand that turned into a friends of benefits. 2 years. Because I was lonely one night and for 2 years. 2 years. And literally I woke up one day and was like, this has been happening for 2 years. And every time, you know what I would tell myself? Not going to happen again. Don't call me. This is over. This is done. He would wait about a week, maybe 2. I'd get a text. What you doing? Nothing. This ain't going to happen again. 2 years, y'all. And so these are those situations when we're talking about loving yourself after heartbreak. I had to love myself enough to cut him off and feel the pain of being alone. But here's the thing about loneliness, y'all. Loneliness is just a natural human emotion. Yes. It is. And when you realize that, when you realize you can do things to overcome the loneliness, because it's going to come. God made us for relationship, right? We desire companionship. But loneliness isn't cured by intimate relationships. It's cured by companionship. That's companionship with yourself, companionship with God, companionship with friends. Join a group. Like Coach Olivia said, come to stuff like this. Keep things like this constantly around you. And then that urge to text or call, it gets less and less and less. So one day you wake up and go, oh, I haven't thought about him in months.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you got to be intentional, ladies. Healing is not haphazard. Healing is intentional. So talking about healing, and you mentioned this a little bit earlier, Coach Olivia, I believe in having a team of care when you're healing. Give us some examples of what that looks like. Who are some of those people that we need to maybe keep in our lives, and who are some of those people that when we're loving ourselves and healing after heartbreak that we might need to kind of distance ourselves from or let go of?
It is not going to be the people you think it's going to be. I think a lot of us want to keep that 25-year, friendship with that, our homegirl that we have for 25 years. She knows everything that I'm going through, but she doesn't know the new you. She knows the unhealed you, but she doesn't know the new version that you're trying to become. Because when you start to change and others are not, you will quickly see that for 25 years, she was okay with y'all being, a mess together, but nobody's trying to change. So you're going to have to start thinking about, how can I find people that are with me, who are trying to uplift me? It's not going to be the people that broke you. It's not going to be with, people that you've talked to here and there and y'all go out for drinks or whatever. No, you got to get to a place where somebody's not going to be your yes man. Okay, I had those people. I had, yeah, girl, but nobody told me I was toxic. Nobody told me that I was a drunk. Nobody told me sometimes you talk too much and it's your fault, because they were my yes men and women. Okay, no, you get with somebody that's gonna say, you know what, girl, now see what you're doing is this ain't gonna happen. No, stop texting him. Stop calling him. No. Okay, you get with people who are going to tell you the truth even when it hurts you. You get with somebody that's going to be, and even if it's just somebody from Facebook, I mean, we got people we can meet all around the world. I'm now meeting all of you all. I met with Alicia, on Instagram, April on Instagram. Like, we meet people all the time. Well, Alicia is not, I haven't even met her yet. And I can't wait to meet her this summer, but she got my back. I got her back, and it's just a connection with us. And guess what? She knew the friend that I just had to let go. I had to let this 15-year-old friendship go because the new person I was becoming, she wasn't. So find you people that are going to be in your corner. If you are trying to be spiritually connected, start going to Bible study. Start signing up for those women meetings. I have a Women of Purpose that I belong to. I'm on the committee of Women of Purpose at my church. This is new for me, okay? We have a women's social every Tuesday, every month, where we bring potluck and we all sit down. This was new to me because I wasn't used to hanging out with people and with no drinks involved. Or no blasting music involved, or us playing spades, or we twerking and doing it. This was so new to me to sit in front of, because I was intimidated. Because the new version of me is like, oh, this is a little different here, But I was intimidated because these were women of God. But these same women of God have gone through everything I'm going through or have been through. These women of God didn't get to be where they're at by, magic. They had to go through things too. So when I started sitting with these women, I realized that these women were just like me. They just had apostles and prophetess and doctor in front of their name. Okay, getting you a church where you can, you don't have to be friends with the ladies. I'm not friends with all the ladies in my church. I have one or two that I go out to lunch with, that I deal with. But when it comes to that fellowship on Wednesday, on every first of the month, I'm right there. Or second of the month, I'm right there. Okay, find you someplace to get where you can go visit with other people, because maybe the 25-year relationship you had wasn't good for you. You just found it familiar, like the 10-15-year relationship I had. Secondly, I know a lot of people frown upon on counseling and therapy. Helped me out a lot. I learned so much in therapy. Things that, because especially culturally, we were told not to tell our business to anybody. And I think a lot of people think therapy is laying on a couch telling your business and that's it. And since I am now practicing, getting my degree to become a licensed professional counseling, it's so much more into that. My therapist was my best friend. I told her that. So you're my best friend. She was my best friend. I was looking forward to go see it. At first it was like rocky. I was like, why am I going here? What is this? What am I telling this lady? The lady can't help me. She was giving me rocks and affirmations. I was like, what, this lady can't help me? Now, sometimes every week I was like, oh, I'm going to see the therapist. I was like, oh, so happy, to go see my therapist, because she was that best friend that told me, girl, it's you. It is you, And then lastly, make sure you find a coach or a mentor. So many people do not like to spend that extra money on getting a coach or a mentor. Okay, a lot of, and like I told anybody who's being coached by me, I'm your coach for life. Okay, you might spend the one-time fee, the one-on-one coaching, and then most coaches are gone. Not with me, because I'm there. Yes, Lady Yo gives out homework. I sure do, and I stay up on your butts too. I'm like Coach Mama, okay? Like I be monitoring what they be doing. Like, this is what we ain't finna do. But get you a coach or a mentor. Think about the times, all that money you spent buying things that for a fact didn't even mean you any good. That outfit you was buying to look sexy for men that ain't even treated you good. All that money you was spending in Shein could be a Coach April money, could be a Coach Olivia money, could be a Coach whoever money. You know, I know that we have to go through coaches because I got burnt by some, and so that's why I decided to not be those coaches. Okay, but get you a mentor. Get into a paid, group. If you got to get paid for the group, get into it. I think mine's is like $17 a month. Coach April's is 20 something bucks a month. Like that is money that is an investment in your self care, that is investment in your self-love, because you need a community to get through this. We can't get through this by ourselves. I'm sorry, you can't do it. Even in the Bible, you have to have a community of people to help you get to where you go. And I've seen the transformation in my clients' lives because of the community of women that we have that we ain't even met yet. Okay? We ain't even met. So get those four things. Some spiritually, get you someplace spiritually, get you a coach, mentor, or get you a therapist or a LPC, and find you some supportive people. And the only way you're going to be able to do that is if you spend some time alone to say, I need to be, I need to find somebody outside of my 25-year relationship. Because those sometimes those relationships are not going where you're going. And it's gonna be okay to outgrow those people. It's gonna be okay.
Man, that I'm telling you, ladies, what she is speaking is so, 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 so true. One of the things that I've learned over these last almost 5 years, since my divorce, is that it takes a team of care. And it may not always look the same. So, like the person I started out with the first few months, it was more of like triage. And then it was like I would go to maybe a different resource. I would read books. I had friends, I had spiritual. So it takes a team of care. That is the way we need to think about our healing. You may not get everything you need from one source, and not knocking church, go to church, love church, all these things. But we mentioned culturally how specifically as Black and brown women, you were told, don't tell your business. You just pray, take it to God, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why some of us have been in some of the relationships we've been in, is because yes, you need to pray. Yes, you need to be in a solid spiritual church. Yes, you need all these things, but I truly believe, just like the word says, that we should surround ourselves with godly counsel. So you have people like coaches and therapists and all these, and some of them, I'm going to be honest with you, some of them might not be a Christian, and God may send them to you because they have what you need. So if you are someone who's saying, I'm not sure what all I need, try a therapist. If you don't like her, find another one.
Right.
But do not give up on your care. To Fatima, I definitely understand, shameless plug, which is why I created the community, $20 a month. And I'll give you guys a little bit more about that at the end of what's all included. But that's exactly why I started it, is because I know that not everyone has the funds to meet one-on-one, right? This is the same reason why Coach Olivia does her community. Find something that fits, that you can afford. To her point, you probably spend more eating out every month than $20 a month, $17 a month, y'all. You spend more than that. So use that money and invest in yourself, and start where you can. Start where you can. So we've got just a couple minutes left. Ladies, if you have any burning questions, drop them in the chat right now so that we can make sure we get them answered. The last thing I want to just spend a few minutes touching on, this is one that was a game changer for me, Coach Olivia, but it was my self-talk. It was the words that I spoke over myself as I was healing, right? And it goes back to that self-love and, blaming yourself and things like that. Talk to us just really quickly about how important our self-talk is when we are healing and loving ourselves after heartbreak.
Yes. Be your own hype man. Be your own hype man. Y'all sit out here and give a co-worker, a girl online you won't even know. Y'all will stop somebody in the store and be like, baby, it's gonna be okay. But then when you get home, you just sitting there, this ain't never gonna work out. I ain't never gonna find nobody. I'm lonely. Come on, stop that. I do not like it. My clients know I do not like it. Positive affirmations, self-talk. You can talk to yourself like you talk to those people out in the streets, that co-worker, that church member, whoever. I constantly tell myself, even when I'm going with all the things that I've been going through these last couple of months or this year, you got this, girl. You gonna get through the girl. You act like you ain't never been through stuff before, like you ain't never pulled yourself up out of nothing. That's how I talk to myself. Because like I tell my clients, I don't have a me in my household. I don't have a me behind the scenes. They got me, but I don't have that. My two best friends don't call me because they're males actually. But they don't call me like, they do hype me up. Now they do. I'm their queen bee. But my point is, my husband doesn't do it. My son doesn't do it. My mom doesn't do it. I mean, I'm out here accomplishing things that you would think that my mom would be proud of. But she doesn't hype me up. You have to do this yourself. Because when you're now teaching how, so when that man comes into your life and he doesn't say, hey, baby, good morning, you look good today, and you sitting all sad, he didn't notice me. Girl, bye. No, okay? This is about you. I am my own hype woman. I like my own red hair. I like the way this looks on me. It makes me happy. This is for me. Positive affirmations, positive self-talk. Get in that mirror every single morning while you brushing those teeth, putting on your makeup, you moisturizing your face at night. Girl, you did it today. And girl, you know what? It just didn't work out today, but it's going to happen again. Tomorrow you could try again. That's how we do this. This is how we do positive self-talk.
Absolutely. I love it. I love it. One of the things that I started out doing years ago, ladies, is I would write, whether it be affirmations or positive words about myself. I got a dry erase marker and I wrote it on my bathroom mirror.
That's right.
So I had to see it. One of the things that I'll have some of my clients do is I'll have them write out certain things about themselves on sticky notes and put them everywhere in their house. And I'll tell them every time you pass a sticky note, you have to say out loud. You have to read it out loud. You have to, that's what I'm talking about. You got to read it out loud.
I just gave this was their homework today. This was in their homework packet today. Cut it out. I told them straight up, post it on your mirrors, tape it someplace. These are little affirmations. It doesn't have to be elaborate. Like most people, you ain't got to meditate on it if you're not a big meditator, because I am, but everybody's not. But it's just something simple. Like I think some of these on there, you are worthy and lovable. Okay? Just something simple. You have what it takes. Tape it on your door so when you walk in your office, you will see that. When you get up in the morning, I have what it takes. When you open up your Bible, for those of you who are in your Bible, you will see that. If you are an avid journaler, like I teach my women, you open up your journal. There it goes. It's not that hard. One more thing too that my therapist taught me that I thought was the most foolish thing in the world when I first got to her. Affirmation rocks. Mm-hmm. These are all over my house. Okay. I was like, what in the world? And this one says, I have many strengths. This affirmation rock is 7 years old. Almost 7 years old. Okay. She taught me this. And it sits right here by this plant all the time. I have some over there on the other side. I have some in my bathroom. I have them everywhere. It's not that hard. You can do this. Y'all making this thing hard, but a lot of people, well, I just don't feel like it. Yes, you do. You'll feel like it if you want to get better. You'll feel like if you're ready to, take care of yourself. You have the strength and the power to do this. Don't let those relationships, that low self-esteem start kicking in because you broke up with somebody. You are not your worth is not determined by your breakup. It is not at all. Okay.
Man, that is such a powerful statement. If y'all didn't write that down, write it down. Your worth is not determined by your breakup. Y'all, I'm telling you, you don't understand how powerful that statement is.
That's right.
It's not. Your worth is not. Your worth was given to you by God. Nobody can take away your worth. Now you can give away.
That's right.
But nobody can take it away. So, Coach Olivia, I just want to say thank you again. Before we close, let the ladies know a little bit about your group. She's got an amazing group as well. Let them know a little bit about your group and where they can connect with you.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put Alicia on the spot.
Okay, Alicia.
I'm gonna let it come from someone that's in the group who has experienced much transformation in her life. I'm gonna let her quickly tell you about the group and what she gets out of the group and what you would get out of the group if that's the route you would go if you wanted me to become your coach. I'll put you on the spot. You gotta unmute yourself. You got it?
Oh wow, you're putting me on the spot.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello, ladies. Um, I'm Alicia. Alicia. Um, I've been in the Renew Her group since the beginning in February. Um, it has been uh, oh wow, it's been awesome for me. Like I heard Lady O on a podcast, and just she was just so inspiring. I don't know this lady. And I looked her up on Olivia B Shepherd on Facebook, and I've been following her ever since then. The Renew Her group has just been such a has transformed my life. Again, April, I'm in my this is my third divorce that I'm currently going through now. So I definitely understand, the journey. But Olivia B. Shepherd is on Facebook. Come join us. We get homework, ladies. Like we get homework. It's impossible to not do the homework, because if you don't do the homework, you have to do the work in order to see, yourself transform. But we're on Facebook. We should go live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and we get homework on Mondays for the week.
Yes. Thank you, girl.
You're welcome.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
I just do. I want you to
Alicia.
step out of your comfort zone. Pushing you always to step out of your comfort zone.
Yes.
Like you said, I go live 3 times a week. They get homework. Constantly posting the group. I do bring guests in every now and then. Also, my group, because I know a lot of people can't afford it now. Some of the girls that are in the group are grandfathered in, so they got a different price. But the new price is $17 a month. I also have an Instagram subscription where you can get a mini coaching. So you'll get like 1 day a week coaching, and you'll get some of the resources, but all of the good resources, those things that I just showed you, all that stuff is inside of the group. And again, if you're going to spend $17 on food, eating out, say, hey, you know what, I want to go to I want to go to Coach April, spend the money, even like I like to tell people, give me 30 days with you. Give me 30 days. If you don't feel different in 30 days, then say, you know what, I'm going to cancel. I don't want to do this anymore. It's blah, 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 blah. No hard feelings, But give yourself 30 days. It is scientifically proven. If you do something consistently for 31 days, that you will begin to make this a habit. Okay, so give yourself 30 days in Coach April's group. Sort of the similar groups. Again, we get homework. We talk about things, but it's in our community. Boy, we uplift each other. We cry for each other. They're there for me. They are there for me. A coach needs a community too. So that's what my group is all about. But if you can't afford it right now, again, it's $4.99 to sign up for my subscription, and you can just still follow me on Instagram. My podcast. I mean, I still give out juicy stuff on my Instagram. A lot of my old coach would be dying inside. She'd be like, oh, girl, she'd be like, girl, you give out too much, girl. I'd be like, you know what? I remember being a person who didn't have money and wanting to be coached.
Yeah.
I know what it's like to want to do things that you can't afford. So I just pray every day that God just send me that woman, even if it helps one woman a day with the messages that I put out. I've done my job for the day.
Absolutely. I love it. So ladies, listen, we talked about getting connected. Coach Olivia, let me tell y'all, and Chrissy, Tamika, Denise, y'all know me. I would not have had someone on having this conversation if I did not trust them, because y'all know me. I don't send y'all no mess. So listen, check out her Renew Her group. Connect with her on Facebook, connect with her on Instagram. For those of you who are not part of the When Love Comes group, and let me tell y'all something, this ain't a competition, okay? We work together.
Right.
You might be ready for one group or not the other. You might want both. Amen. This is not a I just want to make that clear, because y'all like, both of y'all got not a competition. Right. This is when we talk about having those different resources. So if you guys are interested in When Love Comes, and I'm gonna send out an email that's got some links and different stuff, so don't worry about it. But the group is $20 a month. Right now, you guys can sign up for $15 a month. And so we do live trainings. I have live, it's called Answers with April. So Fatima, it's one of those moments where you can hop on once or twice a month and say, I have a question that I need answered. You get it answered during those sessions. So a lot of great resources, great content library in there. This video is going to be in there, resources, downloadables, whole bunch of stuff. So, so ladies, find the right help. If it's not me, not Coach Olivia, that's fine. Our feelings ain't hurt. That's right. But we want you to get that whole circle of care that you need to heal and to love yourself after heartbreak. So, ladies, thank you again. I just appreciate you guys. We do this for you, literally. Right. We do this for you. So thank you so much for showing up, investing in yourself. Like I said, you'll get a follow-up email with some links and different things. Reach out to us, y'all. Connect with us. Follow us on social media. Get what you need to heal. Amen. All right, ladies. Well, you guys have a great evening. Thank you again for joining us.
Thank you, Felicia.
Have a good night.
Bye.